Blog Talk Radio.
Hi, and welcome to Linda's Conscious Talks, and I'm your host, Linda Summers, and we've got a fascinating show for you today. Our topic is the future of healing with Samuel Hendrick. And I'd like to give you a little bit of information about Samuel before we get started. He is a jack of all trades: plumber, carpenter, mechanic, roofer, heavy equipment operator, electrician, draftsman, and electronic specialist. But he knew these things were not the places he needed to go. As a special operations cable U.S. Marine, he came into martial arts, which led him into Kung Fu, which eventually brought him to the amazing healing powers of Qigong. Over the last 19 years, he has studied shamanic healing, Qigong under an 18-generation grandmaster, became a 13-level Theta healer, studied EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, foot and hand reflexology, biomagnetic healing, and craniosacral therapy. He has studied all the healing modalities, and he has seen a whole new pattern form, one where people can heal without surgery, poisonous drugs, years of psychotherapy. His life has been wildly blessed with disasters that have led to a path that has made him see a new future for this earth, not just as humans, but nature as well. This new future of healing has come about from his own experiences and working with others. There is no magic formula or deep secret, he says. It is all mindset and allowing yourself to learn how to heal and putting the intention into it. It is not about the barbaric use of cutting people up, but instead working with the 5 different levels of the body and taking a better understanding of how it is in tune with nature. And with that, I'd like to welcome Samuel to the show.
Hello.
Hi, Samuel. How are you?
I am really good tonight.
Good. Well, thank you for being on the show. And, you know, before we got started, the show is like, oh my gosh, there's so many things, like so many questions are going through my mind. And after I read the testimonial, and, you know, what I didn't mention, which I want to really, because I think it's going to be important and part of this interview, really is about your car accident and really how you, with Qigong and herbs, really, I want you to tell that story. But, and I think this kind of goes, what I really want to say first is I love how you say that you've been blessed with many disasters, which a lot of people can't say that. You know what I'm saying? That they don't look from that perspective. And I love that how you've taken that and really have turned that around. So it feels like that story of your car accident really is kind of how this all got turned around.
Well,
like
I have to thank my parents on my philosophy of growing up, and that is, you know, life hands you lemons, make lemonade. And it was kind of like when I was in that car accident, you know, I had my pelvis split in half, my left hip was cracked and fractured, tailbones cracked and fractured, spine cracked and fractured, ribs are cracked and fractured, my shoulder broken and jaw broken, and I'm laying there in the hospital at the just let me into the ER, and the doctor comes in and goes, well, just before he came in, I realized there's nothing I can do right now. There's absolutely nothing I can do to change things right now. All I have to do is look forward to healing in the future. That was my mindset. You know, I got my lemons. Time to make the lemonade. And the doctor comes in and asks me how I'm doing. And I was like, and this joke just came to my mind. And it's just like, Doc, will I be able to play the piano after this? He goes, I can't see why not. I was like, good, because I can't play a single tune on it right now. And the doctor just started laughing hysterically. And he goes, you're going to heal just fine. He just walked out the hallway. I heard him walking down the hallway just laughing his head off.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, that's incredible. Like, really, you know, you just don't, you know, how did that, I mean, really what, exactly. So how did you begin, I know with the Qigong, so how were you, you had studied that, so you knew about Qigong before the car accident, correct?
Well, yeah, I had a plumbing accident, and I was out of work for a year, and I went through 15 different doctors who all told me that I was faking it so I could get on Social Security. And here I was, 26 years old. I couldn't lift no more than 5 pounds. And it took me 20 minutes to walk from my car to the front of a store. And then I had to grab the grocery cart and hold on for a few minutes. It took me like 2 hours to buy a few groceries, and it was a disaster, and doctor after doctor, and just absolute uselessness. And so I was also having really bad stomach ailments at the time. So it's kind of like life throws things in your face. Either A, you can accept them, or B, you can move past them. And I had this Kung Fu magazine, and stomach was really bothering me that night. I went to go get some stuff for it, and I bumped the magazine off the table, and it fell open to a page for Master Yaman Zhang, an 18th-generation Taoist master, wrote an article on healing stomach pain with Qigong. You know, I mean, the odds of that happening are just beyond anything. So I looked at it, I was like, this is silly. That could never work. And I was like, well, I got nothing to lose. And so I gave it a try. And like he said, 20 minutes later, you'll feel a difference. And 20 minutes later, I did feel a difference. And he said, you do this for 3 months, you'll never have stomach pains again. And it's been 25 years and no stomach pains.
Wow.
So that brought me into knowledge of Qigong, was that simple healing from that. And then I got in a plumbing accident where actually there's a small ligament that holds your pelvis to your thigh bone, and it's typical tear on football players, and it's devastatingly painful. And it took them almost 8 months before they analyzed that. And then they said it'll take another 1.5 years before it heals. And I was, I couldn't work. I'm out of work. I'm losing all my money that I'd saved up. And I just said, God, it'd be nice if Master Yaman Zhang had come to Vermont, because there's no way I can travel to Tibet to meet him. And, of course, I put it out there to the universe. And next week I pick up the newspaper, and there's an ad, Master Yaman Zhang coming to Vermont. So I'm like, all right, the universe has answered me.
Ask and you shall receive, right?
Yes. And, of course, I didn't have any money. I've been out of work for a year, and I was like, well, it's $400 per weekend. And I was like, well, I said, if I asked and he's coming, I said, I have to have faith the money's going to be here. And the Friday before the weekend, I got my federal income taxes back, which was $550. It gave me the money to go there and be present. And I get to his class. It took me 25 minutes to walk from my van into the class, and I was in excruciating pain. This is my first introduction to Qigong I've ever tried, ever. And we're doing all these silly exercises. I'm like, this is like the most silliest, stupid stuff I've ever done. Why am I wasting this much money? And 2 hours afterwards, because this is a whole 9-hour day we're going to be doing, 2 hours into it, he goes, 5-minute break. And I take off in a regular stride, no pain, no nothing, across the floor, outside to my van. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm healed. 2 hours after a year of being in pain, I was completely healed. I was sold on Qigong. I was like, okay, this stuff works.
Exactly. Amazing.
I didn't do it out of belief. It wasn't a belief system. Like, you had to believe to make it work. It just worked.
Right.
I was a complete doubter and doing the whole thing for 2 hours. And after that, I was like, I don't care what this guy says. I will do it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I love what you said, too, about mindset. I think that thing that we do, like even that whole incident that you just shared, right? You were in an awareness and a consciousness of knowing that there was something that was different, where you could have just gone out and not even really thought about it or anything, but maybe somewhere that it was a mindset that you had that linking it all together.
Yes.
I mean, wouldn't you say that? Like,
it's a mindset of awareness that there's something bigger than the self in the universe.
Right.
And because, I grew up, in a backwoods Protestant, Catholic, religion. So I was always aware of it, God and spirit and stuff like that. But when you actually have a start interaction in your life, you start becoming really aware of stuff. Like the magazine falling on the floor in front of me to the page that I needed at the exact same time.
Right.
I could have had the mindset, I was like, oh, that's just stupid. That can't happen for me, and walked past it.
Right.
But I took the mindset, the universe, God is trying to talk to me.
Right. Well, even for money, too, it's the same thing. You had the mindset to say, oh, well, you're starting to link things together.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I think it's the coincidences are too beyond anything.
Absolutely. But, I feel like mindset, because I really feel that this is all what we're going to be talking about in this interview is really having to do with mindset, because that's what you're talking about, is how you can heal yourself.
Right.
Is with the mindset, but of course other things too, that you talk about the 5 different levels of the body and taking a better understanding of that and in tune with that and nature. So I want to really talk about that as well. But I feel that mindset is really important, because I feel that also that if, it's one thing, and that was really kind of a question that kind of popped in my head, is that with your clients, do you find, well, and by the way, if anybody has any questions they want to really call in and ask Samuel, please dial in at 347-850-8423 and ask if you have any questions. Please do call in and ask. But I feel that it's anything that we do is really a mindset, like putting our mind to something. We take that and we say it, but we don't really believe it, I guess, or apply it and really think that, gosh, it does take this mindset. But I don't know, to really heal ourselves, to take a mindset to do that, I think it's taking back your power. I know for myself it's a very difficult thing, which I know that we all have that power, but I really want to dive into this conversation about that, like how, really, because I think it's important that people do take back their power. I feel we do need Western medicine at some point, maybe. I don't know. You're looking at a new future, which that's a question I've got in my mind. You talk about this new future of healing for the new earth and all that. Oh, I don't think a half an hour is going to be enough time, I'm really sorry to say, but everybody, we're going to have to get in contact with you. At the end we'll have all your information, but we will also share that too. So, yeah, there's just so much, because it's such a, healing, and there's so many things that are, with all the stuff that's out there and the chemtrails and, a lot of,
Well, I've been, there's things we can do with our prayers and our thoughts that can end a lot of different things. And it's not, I was just having this conversation with a person the other day, and I was like, I've been doing an experiment just for the fun of it, March and April. I've been seeing chemtrail planes in the sky. I've been pointing my fingers at them and saying, God, please make that plane not do this anymore. For the month of May, there has been no chemtrails over our state. It has gone from 30 to 40 chemtrails a day to nothing.
Wow.
Because I keep pointing at them and I put this huge amount of intent and mindset into it that make this stop. And I don't know if I'm having anything to do with it or if the prayers are working. I don't know. But it just seems that ever since I've started to do that, we don't have chemtrails in our skies hardly anymore.
And I definitely believe that.
People out there want to try it, they can do it.
I am, absolutely. And I think that is true. I think, like you said, it has to, and we talk about this in the synopsis of our topic today. It's about the intention. I really feel that there's a strong, when you have an intention of something and there's a prayer or there's a thought, and that intention is so strong within you, a desire of something, and it, of course, for the betterment of humanity and, yourself, which is a part of the whole, I think that is important. So I definitely think it makes a difference.
Yeah, there's mindset, and to back it up is will and your own self-will and your own intentions. And those three together are a very powerful force. plus education. And that's the other part of it. And most people don't understand that. It takes a level of education. And just not, like they say, the most dangerous thing is half education. And a lot of people get half education, and they think they can do wonders, but it's actually taking a full education. And it's hard to explain. But understanding a subject in its in-depthness, it's like I was trying to, back in 99, I was trying to start a Qigong class. I was trying to explain Qigong, and I couldn't. And now I can explain it much more better. I've got more knowledge to it. I know the anatomy better, and so I've got more of a knowledge of the basis of it. So, you'll know when you get to be, like, very knowledgeable in something, and then you get full knowledge to work with, and you're fully educated in the system.
Absolutely.
And using full knowledge, it makes your life a lot easier. Understanding there's a greater force than the self, too, and being aware of its interactions in your life. It's like you asked me to send me some quotes, so I just went through like 10 of my books. And I just flipped them open, put my finger on the page, and it's amazing how each one of those quotes were all similar, from 10 different books, 10 different quotes.
Right.
Pure randomness, and they're all pretty much the same. They all talk about the same subject. And then that's the universe working for you. You can get complete guidance for something like that.
Absolutely.
And being aware of that. But really taking charge of your life, that's the big thing, and that's what I call healing to freedom, and that's being in charge of yourself. And take this Qigong called Falun Gong. It's outlawed in like 23 countries. And the main purpose, the main purpose of Falun Gong is to enhance your mind so that you are in control of yourself and no government or hierarchy is in control of you. I was like, oh, that's why it's been outlawed in 23 countries.
Wow, exactly. Right. It's the control.
It's government wanting to control the people. It's a cycle humankind has been going over and over and over since beginning of time. I mean, we, back in the, medieval times, ballet started up. Why did ballet start up? Because martial arts, home-based martial arts systems were outlawed by the government. Fear that people would get martial arts, so they created it into a dance. So it looks like a beautiful dance, but actually ballet was all the moves of martial arts. And a lot of your ancient dances are martial arts. They were created to be hidden from the government who wants to control the people. And true freedom is being a self-governing entity in a body. And so we can need to enhance ourselves so that we are in control of ourselves, and power and greed and stuff doesn't control us, and we are one with the spirit, and we flow with the natural flows of nature.
Right, but I think that's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? I think that for listeners too. Exactly. So what can you say, or how can you guide us in sharing with us the intention behind, if someone has an ailment? I mean, you were in a wheelchair, right? So you went through Qigong and all that. So how would you say the intention is to heal oneself without going to a doctor? I don't know, maybe if someone has cancer or if someone is dealing with, chronic issue that they're having, how would one begin to be able to start their own being in charge of themselves and start the healing process with themselves? Do they have to do the Qigong in order to do that?
Yes. It's that's where you get into your 5 bodies. I'm hoping to really get my writings on that out here by the end of the summer. And because what the five bodies is we understand healing right now as a single body, the anatomy. You know, you fall down, you break your leg. You know, it's a physical thing. But if you get like cancer or say pneumonia, you can sense pneumonia coming on to a person before it actually gets to them. It affects them on an energetic level. And if you're an energy person like I am, you can see their aura like completely off. And and then it works into more of the physical. So there's a physical level, which modern science is really good with right now. And then there's the emotional level, which psychology is supposed to be good with, but it has its faults. And EFT has taken off way past that to help people get over chronic issues with psychology in a matter of minutes, basically.
Right. Right.
Then there's the magnetic body, and this has been rarely studied until recently. And it wasn't until 1999 the guy put a huge study into it. He wrote a wonderful book. It's like a 1,500-page book, and it's very detailed about the magnetic body and how it works with our aura. And it's a complete holographic storage unit for all of our information of our body. And basically everything he writes in there is what the ancients talked about the aura. So we have, you know, the physical, the emotional, and the magnetic bodies. And then we go into the energetic bodies, which is Qigong. And that entices us to the entire universe. I mean, Qigong doesn't just stop with the body. It goes out throughout the entire universe. You can connect with the entire universe if you wanted to. And then we have the spirit body, which is connecting with the spirit. And you really can tie into all five of those bodies simply and with the proper Qigong methods. I have a video on YouTube which I put out. It's just a little 15-minute video of Qigong. You can introduce yourself to it. You can actually feel the energy through your body at the end of it. And understanding that it's complex, but it doesn't need to be complex to understand. And it's an education level. It's educating yourself that nothing's impossible. If someone tells you that you're not going to survive, you have to search inside yourself and see what you really believe.
Right.
My brother got brain cancer here 10 years ago, and everyone says, you're not going to survive, you're going to die. My brother kept saying to everybody, look, I'm going to live till I'm 150. I don't know what you guys are talking about. And he's still with us. He's one out of 10 million who survived this cancer.
Yeah.
And so because his mindset was
I was going to say. Absolutely.
So,
and that wasn't even in his consciousness to even think about, what? Like, are you kidding? Like, that wasn't even in his consciousness.
No, in his total mindset, I'm going to live. I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And I guess the best thing to do, to answer your question, is to get rid of all the naysayers in your life. Even before you get sick, people who put you down or talk behind your back or have nothing good to say about you, completely shut them out. It's a big step. Because unfortunately, most of those people are in your personal life attached to you.
Right. Very true.
I think that's the biggest step. It's the hardest step to take. And when you can eliminate poisonous people out of your life, you will start healing.
And why would you say?
Say again?
I was going to say, and why would you say that? I mean, I have an idea, that you're. What you just said about getting them.
Those type of people will just drag you down constantly.
Of the negative energy.
Every time you start feeling good, they're going to come into your life and make you feel bad. And they're going to poison you with bad ideas. And there's a subconscious part to them. They don't do it subconsciously. If they do it consciously, it's even worse. But most of them do it subconsciously, that they want to be in charge of you. And you just got to weed those people out. And I had to do it. There's a lot of people in my life who were attached to me. I thought they were my friends. And then when I got into my car accident, they didn't show up.
Right.
Here I was, I needed help, and they were nowhere to be found. And then after I got better, like, hey, Sam, how's it going? And you should have been dead, and blah, blah, blah. And they just, like, you weren't around me when I needed you. Goodbye. And it was hard to say that. It was really hard to say that. And so that's a huge discipline.
Well, their mindset is very different as well. They're at that place where if there's no believability in the universe or in God or in spirit or in healing, of being able to hear yourself, then I can see why you would say, definitely in those instances. Well, and I think in any instances, we want to be around people that are positive, that keep our energy at a high, at a higher energy than a very dense energy. So I feel it's what you're really kind of seeing is that the more people that we're hanging around with that's a very low, dense energy, that's where our energy is going to reside, and that's where the illnesses are going to come in. Because I do believe that negativity, stress, and all that really can cause illness, the disease which causes disease.
Exactly. And there was a video on the Internet a long time ago, and I haven't found it since, but this little Chinese lady, she was probably 80 pounds soaking wet. And she has this big guy who's like 250, solid muscles, stand up in front of the room, face the room. And she asked him to put his right arm out. And she went and hanged on his arm. She goes, look, I can swing back and forth on his arm. She went behind him. She goes, I want to demonstrate something to you. She throws up 2 middle fingers and mouths, F you, behind him. He doesn't see it, doesn't hear her. She comes back out, asks him to raise his arm. He couldn't hold her up. He couldn't pick her up off the floor.
Wow.
And then she goes back behind him again, puts her hands over her heart, and then spreads it out to him and says, I love you. And she just mouths it with the intentions. Asks him to put his arm back up. He can hold her again off the floor. So other people's thoughts can hurt you just as much as their verbal confrontation. So if you've got a bunch of people around you who are thinking negatively about you, and they're gossiping about you, it's going to affect you whether you're there or not. And that's why I say the first part, besides education, is eliminating the people who poison your life. And unfortunately, it's a hard part for me. I found out most of them are really close to you.
That's very true. I hate to say that, but it is true. We've got 2 minutes left, and so it's like I have so many questions in my head. It's like I knew it's like never enough time. But how can they reach you? Because at the end of the video, we're going to have all your contact information. So how can they reach you? And then I have a question I wanted to ask you.
They can reach me by phone or my website, Whole Earth Wisdom, and my phone is here. Is Vermont number is 802-834-9940, and we can heal over the phone and get information. And do all
that
kinds
was what I was going to ask you. Is do you do long? Well, let me. So it's wholeearthwisdom.com, and do you do long distance healings? I mean, can you do that?
Yeah. Yes, I can do theta healing, which has no bounds to it whatsoever. Theta healing is working through God and having God come through you to heal the patient. And it's absolutely a wonderful technique. And the best thing about it is completely egoless. It's not like, oh, I'm a great healer because look at these people. It's no, I allowed God to help these people heal. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience. Just watch people who've been suffering for years. In 10 seconds, poof, they feel absolutely wonderful.
I love it. Well, I'll be calling you afterwards, so we'll have to talk about that. So my last question is, because we've got about 30 seconds left, what is one thing that you can share with our listeners that has helped you in your life and on your journey?
Knowing that there's a greater than the self available in the universe to help us at all times. When I had a car breakdown, I had no tools. I said, the universe will allow me to help me fix this car now. He wouldn't leave me without this. I went over the side of the road, and there was a broken toolbox, and there was tools. So it's just a matter of searching, knowing your options, and knowing the universe is there to work for you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Samuel, for really we didn't get a chance to talk about it a lot, but if you guys are listening and you watch this video, you'll have all the information. You can contact Samuel, get more information on how he can help, heal you or give you advice, or just give him a call. And, again, we'll have all the contact information. Thank you so much for being on the show. We greatly appreciate it, really. And thank you for all the listeners. Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for all our listeners who joined us out there today and the ones who will be joining us via YouTube. We thank you. Please follow, subscribe, comment, and like. And join us next week, June 1st, for our next show on naturopathic medicine and how we can promote the body to heal itself. And again, thank you, Samuel, so much. Really, I really appreciate you coming to the show and giving us this information. And they'll be able to contact you at wholeearthwisdom.com. So thank you again so much. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. It was great for you to contact me and get this on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Sounds great. Thank you.
You're wonderful. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye.